December the 12th, 2017. Present are Commissioner Fuentes, Precinct 1, Commissioner Flores, Precinct 3, and myself. We have a quorum. Please join us in prayer.
Judge, hold on. Is recording now?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Great. All right, let us pray. Father God, we come to you again for just giving you thanks, Lord, for the beautiful day that you've given us, Lord. We continue to ask for your wisdom, Lord, for this elected body that you've appointed, Lord. Give them your peace as they make these decisions that affect us all, for we know that they want what is best for our great county that we live in, Lord. I just ask for your guidance as well for myself, for my staff, for all the great leaders of this great county that we serve, Lord. I ask all this in your name. Amen. Amen.
Did anyone sign up under open forum? On our consent agenda, any concerns?
No, sir.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Item 5, discussion Dow County Drainage District Number 1 Project Maintenance and Operations. 5A, Precinct 4, Alberta Drain. This is a project that we've partnered in with GLO and Precinct 4. The GLO portion of the project, as far as the ditch work of the project and contracting work that we contracted out, is complete. It basically created another about half a mile of ditch and also some storm sewers system in the Tower Road and Owasso area, and goes west about a half a mile of Tower Road in one of the subdivisions that we've had issues in the past. The El Charro subdivision number 2, and then the precinct through in-house forces has extended storm sewer system into Owasso Acres, Brenda Estates number 3, Rincon del Valle number 4, Rincon del Valle number 3, Tejano Estates, and El Charro subdivision as well, which was installed by the contractor. So with the all the investment that has been made and everything, close to $2 million was invested in this area for drainage. We're almost complete, just lacking the paving of some streets that the precinct will be doing, and then that area should be better served with all the drainage improvements. So we had some before and after pictures, but I believe it's not working, which is fine. And moving on to item 5B, Precinct 4 Junior Drain Tex-Mex project. This is another. This is an in-house project that the district has undertaken in the area of Tex-Mex Road and Valverde. It's in Precinct 4. We broke this project up into phases. We had 2 contractors on part of the project that we did some crossings on. They did some crossings on Tex-Mex Road, and there at the school, the elementary schools that are right there on Tex-Mex and 87th Street. And then we also here recently just finishing up the crossing of Valverde, Dillon Road, and Irrigation District for better improved drainage in that area. What we did is we shifted the ditch, created more volume by the school. We partnered with the school. They gave us an additional easement to do that. And then we've opened up basically the crossings there at Valverde, at the Irrigation District, and at Dillon with larger pipe sizes, because this ultimately flows into our 200-acre detention facility that we have there before it gets into our main drain. So with these improvements, obviously the area will be better served, more capacity in the system, and it should flow more efficiently into our regional detention facility that we have there east of Dillon Road. So just for the benefit of the board and the public. If I may, I can go to item 6?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 6, requesting approval of closing documents parcel 16 as it relates to Chavez Drain Phase 2 project, and authority for the chairman of the board to execute documents pending final legal review.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 7, requesting approval of closing documents parcel 5 as it relates to Rainbow Drain Phase 1, Segment 1 project, and authority for the chairman of the board to execute documents pending final legal review.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 8, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262024A4 for professional engineering services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
8B, presentation and scoring grid of firms graded through the district's pool of pre-qualified professional engineers for the purpose of ranking ACD Board of Directors in connection with professional engineering services required for Wesco North Lateral, Ditch 350, Ditch 47, 7V, 17B2A, 1A extension, and 7T drainage area improvements. For the record, we have LNG Engineers Consultant, score of 98, Guzman Munoz, score 96, and Tesla Infrastructure Group, a score 95.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8C, pursuant to the Board's approval, requesting authority for the Alcohol Drainage District Number 1 to negotiate a professional service agreement with the number 1 ranked firm of LNG Consulting Engineers for the provision of professional engineering services for the Wesco North Lateral, Ditch 350, 47, 7V, 17B2A, 1A extension, and 7T drainage area improvements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 9A, application for payment number 3 in the amount of $134,075.70 from Texas Cordia Construction, LLC, pertaining to construction contract number ACDD 1-17-026-0627, Precinct 1, Lucero Norte Subdivision. Everything's in order.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 10, requesting authority to advertise and approval of CMAR procurement packet as drafted by B2Z Engineering, Construction Phase Service Engineer, in accordance with Texas Government Code Chapter 29269, Subchapter F, Construction Manager at Risk, two-step process for the construction project title, Construction Manager at Risk, CMR, for ACD number 1, New Administration Building, RFQ number ACDD 1-18-002-0117, subject to legal's final review of CMR packet.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 11, we do have one item for closed session.
Pursuant to 551071 and 072 of the Texas Government Code, need a motion to proceed to executive session.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We will be in executive session for a short while.
Order in court.
We're back in open session.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead,
Judge.
sir.
Yes, sir. Real estate acquisition, 12A, no action. 12B, pending potential litigation. We'll move on to no action. 12C as well, just proceed as directed by the board.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, at this time, we're going to convene our regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court, posted for today, December the 12th, 2017. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we come together today to pray for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and in the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what is best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessing and your guidance. Amen.
Amen.
Any concerns with the consent agenda?
Judge, Commissioners, I'm going to ask that item 8A from the consent agenda be pulled. The balance of the consent agenda is good to go.
Motion to approve with the exception of 8.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm going to ask that 8A now be acted upon, and for the record, Commissioner Fuentes will be abstaining from consent agenda item 8A.
Motion approved. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. been asked to move up item 18A.
Yes, Judge. On 18A, we have a resolution today. It's the discussion and action on resolution in support of adopting a park in Pueblo de Palmas Phase 22 subdivision. As you know, we've taken an active approach in improving the quality of life in our area, and we're happy to report that we have a partnership deal in which we are going to be developing a plant. There's a 130-acre planned subdivision in Hidalgo County. We are working with the developer for the donation of the land to develop a park. I'll read the resolution. Pueblo de Palmas Phase 22 is a planned 130-acre subdivision in Hidalgo County Precinct 4, located near the intersection of Alamo Road and Monte Cristo on 1925. And whereas the developers of Pueblo de Palmas Phase 22 had the intent to dedicate and donate a park to Hidalgo County Precinct 4, and whereas while the specific details regarding the location, size, and design of the park are still being developed, Precinct 4 Commissioner Joseph Palacios plans to adopt and maintain the park. And whereas further steps have to be taken for Precinct 4 to adopt the park, including but not limited to dedicating land to Hidalgo County and obtain approval for the county's legal counsel, and whereas the developers of Pueblo de Palmas Phase 22 and Hidalgo County Precinct 4 will continue to work together on this critical project. Now therefore be it resolved that the developers of Pueblo de Palmas Phase 22 have the intent to dedicate and donate a park to Hidalgo County Precinct 4. Hidalgo County Precinct 4 has the intent to adopt and maintain the park in Pueblo de Palmas Phase 22, and the developers of Pueblo de Palmas Phase 22 and Hidalgo County Precinct 4 will continue to work together on this critical project for the community's health, safety, and economic growth. Approved this 12th day of December 2017.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners.
That's awesome.
All right. Under 5A.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Julia Sullivan with Public Affairs, presenting for Hidalgo County Judge Ramon Garcia's office. Item 5C is acknowledgement of receipt of 3 Texas Association of Telecommunications Officers and Advisors, otherwise known as TATOA, awards. Jackie, can you come on out here? Awards presented to Hidalgo County and in recognition of Public Affairs Department Multimedia Coordinator Jacqueline Trevino for her work on the award-winning videos. And here she comes. Just while she's walking up here, over 200 entries were submitted from throughout the state for video production. You know, we have a very small staff. Jackie's our one and only multimedia production person, and she's very talented. And Hidalgo County, because of Jackie's work, received 3 awards in the following categories. Community event coverage for her video, the 2016 National Night Out. Also won a 3rd place award for public service announcement for her work on Stop Illegal Dumping in Hidalgo County, which was a public service announcement. And the county also received an award for overall excellence in programming. So I just want to congratulate our wonderful and talented Jackie.
That's awesome.
Well, we want to thank Ms. Trevino for her work in bringing statewide recognition to our county. And I want to commend the Public Affairs Division for, number 1, getting our videos broadcast on community stations throughout Hidalgo County through interlocal agreements. Number 2, for working to create an Hidalgo County TV station. And number 3, for the work being done to create new programming. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And I'd like to ask Jackie to say a few words, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Judge Garcia and the entire Commissioner's Court and the Executive Office for their continued support of our department. I also want to thank my director, Julia Sullivan, for her unwavering support. I thoroughly enjoy collaborating with all the departments and showcasing all the great work and initiatives they do for the citizens of Hidalgo County. And I appreciate the opportunity to film these events and commercials, and I look forward to expanding those video projects next year. Thank you.
And The awards are there in front of Judge Garcia, and could we take a picture with Commissioner's Court, please?
Thank you for everything you do for us.
By the way, I wanted to introduce Oliver de la Garza. He's our newest public affairs staff member. He comes to us from the Secretary of State's office on colonias. He was our ombudsman here in Hidalgo County, and so far he's going gangbusters, and we're very happy to have him.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome.
And now we move on to item 5A, presentation by, well, let me introduce a gentleman that every property owner in this county loves to hate. The one responsible for these appraised values that we all seem to be complaining about. Mr. Rolando Garza, Chief Appraiser, Hidalgo County Appraisal District.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners, for allowing me to come in and give you a brief explanation of the appraisal process. As y'all know, the Appraisal District is an independent office not associated with Hidalgo County. We have our own board of directors that are elected by the entities that we serve. Their main functions, and they have three, and that is to appoint the chief appraiser, to establish an office, and to oversee the budget. Those are the only three items that they can handle. They cannot, the board of directors cannot tell me, the chief appraiser, to increase or decrease value. And I think that's one of the misconceptions out there, that the board dictates an increase or a decrease in value. That does not happen. That is actually illegal. The values are increased or decreased based on information that I receive, and I am the one responsible for any increase or decreases in value.
Does this Commissioner's Court have anything to do with the appraised values that are provided for by the district?
The county nor any other entity establishes any value. Y'all, as a Commissioner's Court, y'all do not tell me increase it by a certain percentage or increase or decrease, for that matter, any values individually or as a whole. So the answer to that is no, sir. The commissioners and Hidalgo County, as well as every school district and city in this county, do not tell the appraisal district, I need an increase of X percent to balance my budget. That does not happen.
Who do you report to? I mean, is there anyone above you that influences? I understand it, the state comptroller.
The comptroller's office. Yeah, the state comptroller of Texas does a property value study every 2 years, and what they do is they take a sample of properties and they will value them according to what they think, compare it to our value, and I have to be within 95% of their value. Typically, I am low, so the state always wants me to increase value. We do send notices. We do our appraisals, and part of the process is that we do our appraisals. We will then send a notice to the property owners. The property owners have the right to file a protest to dispute that value, and at that point we negotiate, we talk, and we either come to an agreement or we go before the appraisal review board to establish what the correct value for that property is.
All right. And this appraisal review board, that's a separate board from the appraisal district board?
Yes, sir. It is an independent board that oversees the values of the appraisal district, and they are appointed by the administrative district judge of Hidalgo County.
And in this year, who would that person be?
Judge Ramirez is the administrative district judge, so he would be the one that would be selecting.
Judge Mario Ramirez.
Yes, sir.
The 370th district. No, the 332nd district court.
Yes, sir. The judge is the one who appoints at his discretion the appraisal review board. There are 7 members, and like I said, they oversee any value dispute between a property owner and the appraisal district. So a property owner comes in, they will file a protest. If we cannot agree on a value, we go before the appraisal review board. The district will present its case as to why the value should remain the same or lower or higher, whatever the case might be. The property owner will then introduce their evidence, and the board will make a decision as to what the value should be.
All right. Okay. Is there anyone out there that has any question at all about the process that we can take advantage of the fact that our chief appraiser is here to answer?
My question is, what are the odds that two people can be on this particular board who y'all vote for, and the school districts and the city of Hidalgo County for more than 20, 25 years or more? Why are there other people that are elected on this board? I can say that's what looks peculiar to the public. What are the odds? Hell, we could go to Vegas on this, but that's what we look at. If they kind of change periodically and all of them, we might not be quite so distrusting.
Well, that's the same question they've got with the senators.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to
some that have been there 30, 40 years, or, you know.
And that's what's wrong with our government, too.
So no
and
questions
to address
for Mr. Garza?
the question about the board of directors, the entities will nominate individuals, candidates for the board of directors every 2 years. We have an election every odd number year. Nominations from the taxing entities, which the county, the cities, and the schools, are due before October the 15th. Any individual that these entities chooses can be nominated. At that point, an election is going to take place. I will then notify the taxing entities of how many votes each one is entitled to, and that depends on the value, I'm sorry, not the value, but the tax levy that each entity has. So each entity will have a different amount of votes. At the end, the top 5 vote getters will be declared the winners. So anyone has the opportunity to be nominated, but they have to be nominated through one of the taxing entities.
How many municipalities and school districts and counties, how many entities do you make nominations and vote?
There are 50 nominating entities.
50? 50?
50. We have 50 entities that are in Hidalgo County. And there are 5,000 votes that are distributed amongst those, and, each one will, some entities have 5 votes, others have 1,000 votes. It all depends on the size. And those votes are counted, and by December the 15th, the votes are due, and I declare the winners before the end of the year.
Well, if there's no other questions, we certainly want to thank you, Rolando, for
yes, sir,
making time to come in and explain the process.
Always welcome to come. Just let me know.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When the notices go out.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Judge, because there is a slight change in the law for this year, this coming year, 2018, whereas before the notices had to be sent out by May the 1st and the deadline to protest was May 31st, that has been moved up. And the notices will go out prior to April the 15th, and the deadline to file a protest is May the 15th. So they moved up the calendar a little bit. So you will be getting those notices a little bit earlier this year.
We can hardly wait. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, I'm under 5B.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. 5B1, Michael Leo, County Judge's Office, Economic Development. 5B1 is a report from the Rio South Texas Economic Council. As part of our agreement with ResTech, we asked that they make a presentation annually before the Commissioners Court just to give you an update on the activities that they've done for the year and goals for the future. So with that, with the Court's permission, we'd like to turn it over to Mr. Rat Rushek, who is the Executive Director for ResTech.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address you all this morning. With me here today is Mr. Eduardo Campirano. He's my chairman of the board, and he'll have a few words for you right after we finish up my report. We appreciate Hidalgo County for your support in the Rio South Texas Economic Council Hidalgo County is one of our founding members of the council, and we'll appreciate your continued support. In terms of the activities for calendar year 2017, we had various activities with specific targets. One of them is we hosted a site selection conference earlier in the year here in the Rio Grande Valley, and had the opportunity to take 6 site selectors on the tour of the region, visiting the individual RESTEC members, being able to evaluate sites and build relationships for potential projects coming to our region. We also ramped up our economic development marketing activities with an improvement to our RESTEC website. We partnered up with GIS Planning to procure a tool that provides a very detailed and granular site analysis, as well as a property database on this tool. This property database is tied to the state's property database. They use the governor's office uses for their Texas site search, as well as a national property database. This gives a tool to our members and to the county to do specific analysis when it comes to economic development projects. We've also developed the Building Blocks for Economic Development series. This is our free training sessions to economic development professionals, EDC board members, and elected officials from throughout the region, cities and counties. Are more than welcome. We've held 3 sessions so far. We've had a combined turn of 94 individuals. That is going to continue as well moving forward. In terms of foreign direct investment, we've attended the Hannover Messe in Germany in April. That is the largest industrial manufacturing show in the world. And we're talking there to advanced manufacturing companies who might be looking at investing in the United States and particularly potentially in our region. On the retail side, we recently participated in the ICSC Texas show in Dallas. 6 of our members joined us on that trip. We're very successful there, building various relationships with retailers and restaurant entities, and came back with 13 leads that were distributed to our members who are now pursuing those. We've also fanned out our engagement on the foreign direct investment side. We've joined the European American Investment Council. This is an organization that is focused on specifically taking European companies and assisting them investing in the United States. The reason for the focus on Europe is that Europe makes up roughly 56% of the foreign direct investment in the United States. But as you're probably aware of, the Valley hasn't seen much of activity out of Europe, so there's a slice of the pie that we're leaving on the plate. And RESTEC is engaging to take advantage of those opportunities and be involved in that. We've already attended the annual conference for the EIC that was held recently in Frisco, and made 9 new contacts from site selectors and resource partners that will be working to develop further opportunities for our region. We've also joined the German American Chamber. The German American Chamber in the United States is essentially the equivalent of the U.S. Department of Commerce for Germany. So they assist German companies that are looking to expand doing business in the United States and expand their facilities. We hosted already a rep from Houston who had a tour of the region, and we're planning further activities. During the year, RESTEC itself grew. We had additional members joining FAR, San Juan, Palmview, Texas Southmost College, UTRGV, and LRGV-DC. I'm very proud to announce that we now have the 4 major education institutions in the region at the table with us. That RESTEC with UTRGV, Texas Southmost College, TSTC, and STC. We also moved our offices during this year. We are housed now out of the Lower Greenville Development Council. Looking ahead to 2018, which will be our 10th anniversary year with RESTEC being founded in 2008, we are planning another tour of the region. We're going to be hosting 6 European American Investment Council affiliated site selectors here for a tour of the region in February. We're also working on hosting additional consultants from the German American Chamber in our region here in the beginning of the year. We're working with the ICSC to host an RGV-focused event in the summertime. We're working on the details and the dates on that, and obviously we'll be returning to Dallas for the ICSC Texas show in the fall. We're also looking to expand our website capability, and on the foreign direct investment side, we're looking to attend a foreign direct investment recruiting trip in Europe in April. We'll also attend the Hannover Messe as part of those activities. We'll attend the Select USA Summit in Washington, D.C. that's focused on attracting investment from across the world to the United States. We'll continue our Building Blocks series, as well as develop a member-only focused specific economic development training series as well. And any additional activities come up as we go through the year. So that is our outlook for 2018. Once again, I appreciate your support and membership. I'd like to pass over the mic to Mr. Eduardo Campion, our chairman of the board.
Judge, Honorable Judge, members of the Commission, thank you. I'm the Port Director at the Port of Brownsville. We are also a founding member of Rio South Texas Economic Council. I will tell you that it probably hasn't been as important on regional economic development as it is today. We're on the cusp of seeing some major industrial expansion in the Rio Grande Valley. And we're talking about multi-billion-dollar projects. And these are the kinds of entities that really don't care about city limit lines or county lines. Because if we're going to succeed in attracting this kind of investment, they really look at the region and the assets that the region has to add, because no one entity is going to be able to fulfill the requirements that they have. So we're excited about being able to position the Rio South Texas Economic Council as the entity that if you're looking for investment in the region, that you have an entity that can help bring the collaborators to the table, be able to address the concerns that they have when they talk about regionalism. And so it is critically important that Hidalgo County maintain its position, as it is for all of the other entities in the Rio Grande Valley. But I think we all believe we're reaching at a point of very exciting times in seeing some significant expansion in the region. And it's really important to be able to present it with a united voice. So certainly appreciate the opportunity to serve and certainly continue the support of Hidalgo County with the organization. If you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to address them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would like to add that for that tour that we did earlier with the site selectors, for Hidalgo County's portion of the tour, of course, we told them about the demographics and the programs that the county offers, but we were able to take them to Alsalduas Park. We coordinated with Precinct 3 and the staff there, and we'd like to thank them for giving us the opportunity, because what it did was give an opportunity for the site selectors. They literally got down at the park, took pictures of Mexico across, and in spite of what they hear sometimes in the media and the impression that they might have, they were able to see firsthand that Hidalgo County is a safe place to do business. It's a warm place to do business. I think that's an opportunity that we're probably going to want to capitalize in the future. So again, thank you to Commissioner Flores and his staff for that. Item number 2 on the same is discussion and approval of the upcoming service agreement for Rio South Texas Economic Council pursuant to Local Government Code Section 381.004. This is for the upcoming year.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item number 3 with that is approval of 2018 membership dues for the Rio South Texas Economic Council in the amount of $17,500 with authority for county treasurer to issue payment after review and auditing procedures are completed by county auditor.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge, members of the Commission.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Item 6, our DA's office.
Morning, Commissioners. Judge Rosalinda Cantu presenting for the District Attorney's Office. Item 6A, DA's Title 4E, Fund 1100. Number 1, approval of the revised Title 4E grant budget, contract number 23941008 for October 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2018.
So move. Second.
Number 2,
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Number 2, approval for county judge to sign the following documents. Letter A, budget.
So move.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 7, Constable Precinct 3.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner. Chief Deputy Rene Gonzalez for Precinct 3 Constable's Office. Today we have discussion, consideration, and approval to appoint John Eric Garcia as Reserve Deputy Constable by Constable Larry Gallardo, Jr., Constable Precinct 3, in accordance with Texas Local Government Code, Section 86.012.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 8, our Sheriff's Office.
Judge, sorry about that, Chief.
My apologies. Agenda item
9A, requesting approval for reimbursement for LVN Norma Elizabeth Alcocer for the completion of license for non-certified technician online through Texas Medical Board in the amount of $50.61.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 9, our executive office.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Judge, I'm actually apologize. This should have come up under item 5A because it is in conjunction with the appraisal district, Mr. Orlando Garza's presentation. But we have Mrs. Salazar and Mrs. De La Garza in the audience. This has to do with a collaboration with the appraisal district with respect to questions about property taxes and just information. It's a series of educational presentations about property taxes. So I will turn it over to Mrs. Salazar.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Judge, Commissioners. As the Commissioners Court and Judge, you recognize that the community often has questions related to appraisals, collections, and delinquencies. So over the past several years, our office has coordinated with the appraisal district, with Mr. Rolando Garza, as well as the tax office, through Paul Villarreal, and together we have gone to each commissioner's precinct every year, once a quarter, and had a free presentation open to the public. Some of you have had the opportunity to attend those and to answer some of those questions that the community has. So we'll be having another one of those on Thursday at the Edinburgh City Council chambers at 5:30. Wanted to present that to the court and to the public. So if anybody wanted to attend, they are welcome. We're there to answer questions. Once again, it's free. You'll have the individuals in charge of those processes there to answer questions, so everyone's invited to attend.
Thank you.
And to add to that, Judge and Commissioners, it's a valuable resource for the public to have the opportunity to ask questions, not only of my office, but of the tax office and the delinquent attorneys on any questions that may arise or they may have regarding property taxes and the collection of those taxes.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Make sure we repeat it again. If you have any questions about your property taxes, Thursday, December the 14th, 2017, between 5:30 and 7 at the Edinburgh City Hall.
Thank you. And Judge, is it okay if we leave some of these flyers at the back of the room?
You ought to pass it around to
Thank you,
anyone
Judge.
that may be interested.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, Balde.
Yes. Judge, there's no action under item 9A1 or no presentation or update, but I do have an update under 9A2, emergency situations, current since last agenda meeting. Judge, Commissioners, we did have a situation that arose at the courthouse late Friday afternoon, somewhere about 2:30, 3 o'clock. The facilities management was doing their inspection of all the buildings for the end of the week, as they do throughout the week, but for the end of the week going into the weekend, discovered a water leak at the courthouse. The water leak was such that we contemplated shutting the courthouse down for the balance of the day because of the amount of water that was leaking, and two, the water pressure at the facility. And obviously that was going to have, we were starting to experience some issues with respect to the facilities at the courthouse. We made a decision not to shut the courthouse down. We worked through the problem. The facilities management worked Friday night and most of the day Saturday. There was some excavation. The City of Edinburgh was contacted, so it was in collaboration with the City of Edinburgh and the main water line that goes into the courthouse. It was discovered after some excavation of the general area where they suspected the leak was. It was a 4-inch water line sleeve that had apparently shifted. They believe the shift had to do with the cold snap that we had. It gets super cold, then it warmed up, and so they believe that there was a shift. Unfortunately, the sleeve did not hold because of its age. It was repaired Saturday, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Judge, you and I spoke about that Saturday morning, I believe, and the water pressure held. Monday morning, prior to the opening of business, it was discovered that we still had water, and it appeared to be a water leak on the west side, on the southwest side of the courthouse, by the hallway where the law library is. The leak was such that they extracted roughly 15 gallons of water from the carpet area and the hallway area by the law library. There was some work done around the area to try and find if it was one part of the original leak at the courthouse Friday and Saturday, or was this an additional leak? As I said, they extracted the water. They did some exploratory excavation. They could not find per se a leak that they could attribute to that water in that area. And so the general consensus was that it was part of the original water leak. Okay. With that being said, staff has been reviewing the area every hour on the hour, last night as well. It does not appear to be leaking at this point, but there is work being done at the courthouse with respect to, one, the sleeve that was repaired, and as a result of the sleeve being repaired with a new coupling, how that would impact the rest of the system, because obviously the piping is aged and it's only as strong as its weakest link. And given that the sleeve is now repaired, they're keeping a close eye on the rest of that general area of the piping there. Okay, as I said, if we were to have at the courthouse the main water line give, and it was such that it was not going to be a quick fix, one of two things would occur. We would essentially have to shut the courthouse down because the facilities would not operate, and that becomes a health issue. Number two, Ms. Marty and I spoke Friday evening, Saturday morning with some options, and one of the options to try and keep the continuity of business going at the courthouse would have been porta potties. The issue with the porta potties is where to place them, and the number of porta potties that you need, obviously for male and female. There's limited space in the front or on the east side of the courthouse, and the west side is secured. So again, that was the issue that arose late Friday evening into the weekend. The issue was resolved, but it does not detract from the problems that we do have at the courthouse.
Okay. Thank you, Elder.
9B, Judge Commissioners, we have an appointment or reappointment to the representative of the Urban County's Policy Committee for 2018-2019 term. Our current County Commissioner, Commissioner Palacios, is our representative, and I am asking or recommending that Commissioner Palacios continue to be our representative on the Urban County's Policy Committee.
If it's in the will of the court, I've been sitting on that board for a few terms now. Very critical group that talks about a lot of issues, urban issues, a lot of legislative issues. We've been at the forefront working with the board on several issues that go through the legislative agenda. Again, I've been there. If it's a will of the court, I continue. I'd be happy to. If there's someone else that would like the experience, I'm happy also. So I'm open regardless.
My motion to reappoint you.
Second.
Okay. Those in favor?
You got it. You asked for it.
Thank you. Aye. Motion carried.
Second.
Item 9C is approval of right-of-way permit, which is an open cut in the city of Mercedes. This is in Precinct 1. All is in order.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Item 9D is for the Children's Advocacy Center, DB Estrella House. We do have Mr. Sanchez, Jesus Sanchez, in the audience. Mr. Sanchez, if you would please to the podium. He is the interim director for the Advocacy Center, and the first action item is, or you know what, Mr. Sanchez, could you just elaborate just a tad on the function and the role of the Advocacy Center?
Yes. Good morning, Judge
Good
Garcia,
morning,
Commissioners. Jesus Sanchez, I'm the interim executive director for the Children's Advocacy Center. With me is Mr. Rick Guerrero Jr., our board vice president, and thank you for allowing me to say a few words. The Children's Advocacy Center is the only one in the Hidalgo County that serves child abuse victims ages 2 to 17. Our services are forensic interviews, victim advocacy, mental health services, and community outreach. Last year, with your continuous support, we served 1,337 cases. That's an increase of 12% over fiscal year 16. I'm happy to report, though, that with your continued support, we were able to reach more clients because we opened a satellite office in the Precinct 3 area. We opened a satellite office in Mission that allowed us to bring the services closer to the victims, especially the mental health services, which is critical in the healing process. What we're hoping for this support for this next year is that we would open an office in the West Local area to bring services closer to the Precinct 1 area, and also expand our community outreach efforts by introducing a curriculum into the schools that is called Play It Safe. What we're hoping to achieve is that we would educate and bring awareness about child abuse issues and what to do when a child cries to you. And again, thank you very much for your continued support. We expect that with this new satellite office in the Precinct 1 area, we would increase services, and we expect to see about 1,500 children in the next fiscal year. But thank you again for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for what you do this.
Judge, Commissioners, with that being said, first action item is discussion, consideration, and action regarding funding request, the amount of $50,000 from Children's Advocacy Center, DBA Estrella House.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And second action item is discussion, consideration, and action on declaration of support of the Children's Advocacy Center, DBA Estrella House.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And our last action item for Estrella House is approval to authorize county treasurer to issue check in the amount of $50,000 to the Children's Advocacy Center, DBA Estrella House, after review and processing procedures are completed by the county auditor.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And Judge, Commissioners, for the record, the funds that are allocated to Estrella House, these are unclaimed electricity credits from the state. And this is a program in which they qualify for.
Can we take a quick?
Sure.
Four more years.
Okay, look at Yvonne. Just smile and at the count of three, we're going to take 2 or 3 photos. Okay. 1, 2, 3. One more. And one more photo. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you. Is that video we can help you to stage? Sure. Thank you.
Go ahead, Father.
Item 9E, I'm asking the court to accept a settlement check from Pronto Insurance Pronto Insurance Agency in the amount of $2,211.87. This will settle an auto accident claim with one of our county vehicles.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Second. I'm sorry, Ms. Katia, and second.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Katia Garcia, and I'm representing the Department of Human Resources. Item 10A, requesting waiver of the budget amendment policy, personnel-related amendments for personnel items listed.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 10B, Sheriff's Office, ratification of effective date for the personnel action approved by Commissioners Court on December 5th, 2017. Agenda item 62741 from December 11th, 2017 to November 27th, 2017.
Second.
And, I'm sorry, and before the action is taken, could you elaborate on the prior date?
On the yes, basically this is a action that was taken by the Sheriff's Office for promotion for one of their employees. Okay. And basically, based on the grade and step policy that we have, promotions are basically guaranteed a one-step increase. So the lieutenant position that was vacant was at a lower step, so we're just requested action to move that step to the higher step. I believe it was step 4 that would guarantee that employee that one step increase.
Okay, and so
this is in accordance with the policy. It's in accordance with the practice that we've instituted with the grade and step, since the adoption of that policy.
Okay, and that's the grade and step that the staff has been working on, and with respect to for action for January.
Well, this is for the Sheriff's Office, so this has been in practice since
right. This is
2008.
But this isn't just in general.
It's the same policy. It's the same practice that we've been following since the adoption of that grade and step, and is in accordance with the actual law enforcement pay plan table.
Okay, and so I know that there was a concern from the auditor's office, and wanted to put that on the record. Ms. Linda, at the end of the day, I'll ask, based on that, based on the representation that's just been made, I'll ask that action be taken, and then we'll have legal look at it one last time. So.
We will recommend approval. That's basically the practice that we followed.
Can we approve it subject to legal?
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Move for approval subject to legal.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 10C, Precinct 1 Administration. Number 1, approval of the following personnel actions effective January 2nd, 2018, not to exceed 12 weeks. The precinct is requesting to create slot number T034, Administrative Assistant 1, with a proposed budgeted amount of $6,125 per year, $12.76 per hour, and also to create slot number T035, Administrative Assistant 1, with a proposed budgeted amount of $3,062 per year, $12.76 per hour.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Number 2, approval of the following personnel actions effective January 2nd, 2018. The precinct is requesting a position title change for slot number 0043 from truck driver 3 to maintenance 2 with the same budgeted amount of $29,241.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
And number 3, approval of interdepartmental transfer.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item 11, Urban County.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. P.R. Avila with the Hidalgo County Program. For item 11A, subject to compliance with House Bill 1295, when and if applicable, the Urban County Program is requesting the award of bids and the approval of contracts with RG Enterprise LLC, DBA, G&G Contractors, and Quality Investments for the demolition and reconstruction of the following. Item 1, it's a total of 5 homes, 1 unit in Countywide, 1 unit in the city of Huasico, city of Elsa, 2 units in the city of Mercedes, in the total contract amount of $308,700 to RG Enterprises, DBA, G&G Contractors.
So.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 11.2, it's 3 units in the countywide area, 1 unit in San Juan, in the total contract amount of $251,999.96 to Quality Investments.
96 or 99?
It's 96. It was corrected. It was an error on the contract.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 12, our Health Department.
Mr. Eddie.
Judge, Commissioners, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's no action under item 12A1 and 12B1.
All right, then item 13, our fire marshal.
There is a concern on item 13, but
Yes.
Ms. Marty,
We're going to, we're recommending no action. It'll be placed again on 1219 with more supporting documentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item 14, our community service agency.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'm Guillermo Palacios with the Community Service Agency. I'm presenting item 14A, discussion, consideration, and possible action for approval to amend PY 2017 Community Service Block Grant contract number 611-700-2636 budget as reflected in the amendment with authorization for Mr. Longoria, Jaime Longoria, and Judge Ramon Garcia to sign any and all pertinent documents.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you.
Item 15, our IT department.
You guys move fast this morning. Good morning, Judge Commissioners. I have a couple of items. It is a authorization approval to purchase through our county's contract with DIR with Verizon Wireless. We are doing a new data card as listed on the grid, a new data card for Precinct 2, and a name change for the planning department.
So move.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Have a great morning.
Thank you.
Item 16, our elections office.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm asking permission if we can go ahead and present item B first. Melanie has to get back to the office.
Go ahead.
Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Good morning. Item B, 1, approval of 2017 certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for 2016 HAVA program income.
Move for approval. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
2, approval of 2017 appropriation of funds for HAVA program income. Title 1, account 1283 in the amount of $241,879.47.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And 3, the approval of 2017 appropriation of funds for HAVA program income. Title 2, 1283 in the amount of $385,054.44.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before starting item A, I would just like to remind the citizens of Donna that there is their election day today. There is the mayoral and the council member place 3 on the ballot today. The election poll place is at the Donna Recreation Center at 307 Miller Avenue. So let's get out there and vote. Today is the last opportunity to vote for that runoff election. Today, item 1 is part of my post-election in regards to the countywide polling place program. And before holding the public hearing and allowing the community to come up and vote, I would like for you to look at your packets, and you will see that the first map is the elections annex building, and you can see the small squares, hopefully it'll come up, in the center, which is representative of precinct 108 and 109. Prior to this countywide, those 2 squares right in the middle of the map would have been the only those voters would have been the only ones able to vote at the elections annex. But you can see by the dots that are spread everywhere, even into Mission and McAllen, into FAR, San Juan, Alamo, all those dots represent a voter that was able to come to the elections annex and vote because of the countywide polling place program. There were all ballots that were available everywhere. The next map is our UT RGV, and this is the first time that we have a permanent polling place at the university. And look at this. All the students that attempted to vote there were able to vote there because of the countywide. Normally, if we had had a location there, it would have been precinct 109, and that would have been it. The same thing for the STC Pecan campus. You can see by the squares in the center that only 3 precincts would have been represented, while now all students were able to vote at their campus.
This is just election day.
This is just election day. Countywide is for election day only. From there, you will have other examples that you can look through, and certainly give me a call if you have questions. We have Sergeant Fernando de la Rosa, which is in Alamo, and they were having an election. But what's important to note is that the 5 squares in the center, which represents the 5 precincts, would have been the only voters that would have had an opportunity to vote there. You can see that there are voters north, south, east, and west, and throughout the county, even as far as our rural area in Palmview, that had an opportunity to vote at Sergeant Fernando de la Rosa. Jose Pepe Salinas in FAR, you can see the 2 squares in the center that represent precincts 6 and 35, north of the area in FAR, and south, and certainly throughout as far as McAllen, and again into our west area, further than Palmview, and even into our rural area in the eastern part of our county. The Weslaco Visitor and Event Center was having an election, and Weslaco usually has 1 polling place location, represented here by 7 precincts, but you can see that all the voters that fall south of that precinct location were able to vote, some as far as Edinburgh, San Juan, San Juan, we have 1 voter, Donna, Mercedes. So you can look at these maps and you can see the advantage that the Hidalgo County voters have by being able to vote at any poll location throughout this county on election day. They're already able to do this during early voting, but now this is election day. The other report that I have for you is the provisional report. Now, provisional means that a voter would not be able to vote directly on the machine due to various reasons. But one reason that was very upsetting was that on election day, you had to go and vote at that 1 poll location that represented your precinct. And you can see that in this last primary of 16, we had 49 voters rejected because they found themselves at the wrong poll location during the primary, and then during the general, 38. So this upcoming 2018, I will, of course, with your permission, apply for permanent status as a countywide poll place program, and in 2018, no voter will be rejected because they find themselves at the wrong poll location. So that is our expectation. The last handout that I have for you is just the calendar for the 2018 primary, and that's just for your FYI. So I would like to now start, unless you have any questions for me.
Just a quick comment.
Yes, sir.
Or just a quick question with respect to how did the new machines work, in this general election, and what was the response? Was the turnaround faster with respect to results and things like that? Can you just very, very briefly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that question, Commissioner. And yes, the response was overwhelmingly positive in my office. And in fact, some people that would like to come up and participate in the public hearing, I would like for them to also offer their opinion on the new voting machines. The calls that I received, the feedback that I received was that it was such an ease in transition as far as applying the new machine. The actual setup and takedown for our poll workers was minimal, so quick. And of course, my staff is here as well to talk about the administrative side and the reporting side, which also the time has just been cut down so much in being able to produce everything that we have. So hopefully they'll be able to respond on that as well, Commissioner. It gives us an opportunity. So thank you for that, and please take that into consideration.
Did we need to open the hearing?
Yes, sir.
At this time, we're going to be convening a public hearing to consider comments on the County of Hidalgo's participation in the Secretary of State's countywide polling place program for the November 7, 2017 constitutional amendment election. The hearing is now open. Go ahead, Mr. Barnes.
Hello, my name is Jim Barnes. I was an election judge in the last election. First off, Judge and Commissioners, I would like to thank you for the new equipment that you purchased this year and allowed us to get it into play in this last election. It is fantastic. If anybody can use a smartphone, they can vote without any difficulty.
Very good.
Now, as far as the countywide, this is the first election that I can recall that on election day between 6:30 and 7, I did not have to send somebody away to go vote 30 miles away where they live and are registered to vote. That really feels good.
My name's Beth Barnes, and I'm also an election judge. The being able to vote wherever you want on election day, this coming election, the primaries is going to be a prime time to really test that. But I think it's going to go over really well. And everybody that came into the polling place, we gave them a little, how did you like it? And everybody said that was easy. They liked it better than the big machine, the old machines.
Very good.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Erica Ventura, and I was also one of the election clerks for this past election that was held in Hidalgo City. And I do want to let you know that these new machines that we have out are exceptionally well. I mean, they are so easy to operate. The voters themselves were really astonished and surprised at how easy they were, especially our elderly. The elderly people that would come in with assistance, they thought they would need the assistance, and they found out that it was extremely easy for them. It was very, very computer friendly. I also want to let you know that there at our election site, we did have a poll watcher that came in from Austin, Texas, and he was very overwhelmed with how easily these machines were, how fast the lines went through, and just the feedback that we got was so positive. It was very, very positive, and I thank you for allowing Ms. Ramon and for all of y'all to purchase these new machines, because it's going to be super easy. And also the fact that now on general election days, having to be able to go and vote at any poll location, that is going to be extremely easy on everybody, because we're all extremely busy people. We have a lot of things on our agendas, and to be able to go to any election poll and just vote, that is going to be extremely well. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Marta Sanchez, and I'm part of La Unión del Pueblo Entero Lupe. Every year we organize caravans to take people to vote, to help them to with this process, especially the new citizens who are become citizens with us. And so they have an easy way to see the system because they're nervous, they don't know how to. They usually is the elderly, the ones that become citizens when they're elder. And so they're really uneasy about our systems here of voting. So this time when we took them to the La Garza side in Alamo, I mean, we are surprised. They usually need help. They usually ask us to walk with them because they do get nervous. And so we asked them to test it, to test the new system, the new machines, and just go by, and they needed help, we'll be there. But actually, surprisingly, this time they didn't need any help from us. They find it super easy to manage very quickly. So definitely these new machines are going to be easy for our elderly and for the people who don't speak any English. I mean, they were easy to know that they can choose to do it in Spanish, and they were much easy. So we really, I think that it's going to, hopefully, that it's going to help us to increase the voting people that vote, so the amount of people that vote, because we always on that business of trying to increase voter turnout. So thank you for for supporting the idea of getting new machines, and also for the new way of voting, that they can vote anywhere on election day. I think that hopefully we should start see the numbers increasing. So thank you so much.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing us to be here today. My name is Albert Morales, and I represent the Advocacy Alliance Center of Texas. I'm together here with Carlos Martinez, and we're here to offer our testimony also in support of the renewal of the Countywide polling place program. We had a lot of positive outcomes and feedback this past election. At our office, I just want to point out that we didn't receive any complaints or concerns, and from our point of view, the election ran very smoothly. I'll start off by saying that the Countywide polling place program made it very convenient for voters to vote. The polling locations were very visible and accessible as well. It's important to place polling places at highly trafficked areas that are common and noticeable, meaning that people know where they're at. It's very important, so that way we can give that ease and that convenience to the voters. On Election Day, the confusion was eliminated, and many people were not turned away from voting because they were at the wrong precinct. Whereas before, if you were in the wrong place, you would be sent to another location, and many times people would get discouraged and frustrated, and they wouldn't end up casting their ballot. So once again, very convenient for the voter. I also have to mention that the extension of the hours of the election also helped to allow the voters to get off from work and still get a chance to make sure that they get their voice heard and exercise their right. So that also helped out as well. From my personal experience, I did the curbside voting, and it was very convenient. The machine was very user-friendly, and I just want to offer my support, our support, and I guess I could continue talking nice about this program that is necessary to continue, but we'll let the numbers speak for themselves. Carlos Martinez, my colleague here, would like to share the positive impact that the Countywide polling place program had on the numbers of people that voted.
And I don't have much to say. I mean, you heard it from the people that voted. But I would like to share with you an analysis that we did about the election. We track all the numbers, and the table that I'm going to pass around lists here all the top counties in Texas. We're talking about the top registered counties like Travis County, Harris County, and these are areas in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. And I just want to show you that turnout in 2015 compared to 2017 and the impact that the machines did. So let me pass this. So like Albert said, it's basically all in the numbers. And as you can see, the one that basically outranked us was Travis County, but they had the valley-wide polling places for years now. And so we find out that having this type of polling places and locations in our community, it's really increasing voter turnout, as it is in the whole state of Texas when it comes to a constitutional. You can see from the numbers that from 2015 to 2017, all of the major counties decrease in voter participation. And as an organization who we emphasize a lot of voter registration in the community and the importance of getting out to vote, this is great news to us. And we want to continue promoting this type of polling places and encouraging other counties to do the same thing. So we like to thank the Elections Department for all their hard work that they do at every election in making it easier for the voter to come out and vote. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Annette Muñiz. I am a county employee, but just as important, I am a voter. I make every effort to vote early in every election. Unfortunately, this time it got away from me. I was extremely busy, and before I knew it, it was going to be Election Day. And I was so happy to find out that I could actually vote here at the Annex building and didn't have to drive back to McAllen or, find a way to get back in time to be able to vote. It was extremely important to me this time around to vote as a mother of a veteran to make sure that I casted my vote because there were so many propositions affecting our veterans. So it was important. Immediately when I got there, there was a line and I thought, I need to get back to work. But it went so quickly and so smoothly. And as soon as I walked out, I called Ms. Ramon to compliment her. No, Valde, I don't just call to complain. I did call her to compliment her on how quickly and how efficiently, the whole staff that was there helped us, to get out of there and get back to work right away. But I think the convenience of having these locations is very important. While I have 3 adult children and an adult husband, it never fails that they will call me, where do I need to go? Where do I vote? And aside from that, I do get a lot of phone calls from friends that know that I work for the county that just assume that I know, everything. But I do carry the schedule of where the locations are. But it made it a lot easier I didn't have to look up anything. I could just tell them where they could go vote. which made it a lot easier. So I think these locations are extremely important. I think they're, make it a lot more accessible to people, especially people that drive from somewhere else and have to work, away from their hometown. I think it's very, very important. And again, I would like to congratulate Yvonne and all her staff for this, great thing that they did, especially with the new machines. And I want to congratulate all of y'all for making that move and getting these new machines. So, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Maricela Mari de Leon. Not only am I a Hidalgo County resident and voter, I was also a former candidate for a statewide race last year. It's interesting that I arrived at the time that this discussion is being made. I think that this concept wasn't new. I think that there was many other counties within the state who were already implementing this type of countywide polling program. I think that Hidalgo County taking the initiative and moving forward with it and having such a successful turnout is an amazing news. However, I'm here to make some comments that I feel are just as important when we're identifying location polling sites within the county for residents when they want to participate in our electoral process. As a candidate, I experienced how some of the election workers who were manning these sites were not very too familiar with certain questions that I had. I think at times I had to call the elections office and let them know of the experience that I had, and it varied. It may not be necessarily just the voting situation, but just having to use a bathroom. I think at one point I was denied using a bathroom. Secondly, I think that there was a great deal talking about where everyone can go and vote anywhere they'd like, knowing where the election sites would be. I'm from San Carlos, so my voting site is San Carlos Community Center. I think at one point during the election cycle, those change. And I know that Yvonne, as the administrator, tries her very best to implement location sites where individuals can easily go, recognize a location place, and say, okay, this is where I can go vote. When these sites are identified prior to any election, I just strongly think that going forward, when you're going to implement a countywide voting program, where a lot of individuals who may not have voted in the past are going to try to find out, where can I go vote? And it's like the lady before me mentioned, some people don't know. And I think the access of information has to be readily available and readily accessible. Whether it be posted somewhere, it needs to be available online. And I think measures need to be put into place so that we don't have these confusions in the future. I can only imagine before this program was initiated, there was a lot of concerns as to when there was change in location sites. I know that in San Carlos that changed. I think 1 year it changed to like near Cibolo Road at a church. And there was no notification. I drive to San Carlos to go vote to be told it's in Cibolo. There was no sign that said vote here. You're on the expressway. There was no balloons. You would think balloon exit here. There was no signage for individuals who have to experience a change in polling location without prior notification the day of election day. And I think that it's great that this program is going to be considered to move forward and implemented, but I think that aside from that, there has to be proper lines of communication and measures within the elections department and the community. And I think that if it's going to be effective going forward, that really needs to be strongly considered. And I would encourage Ms. Yvonne, as the administrator of this program, to really take that into consideration. I am someone where a lot of people come to for information. Where do I go for this? Where can I access information? And at times when I do not know, and if I find difficulty in just trying to get that information, I can only imagine a voter who has never voted in their life and decided, you know what, this year I am going to go out, and that would probably be a voter that would be deterred in going to the polls. So I think that's great that you all are considering this. I think the outcomes are very evident, but I think that the lines of communication between the county, the elections department, and the voters has to be very clear. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Fern McClarity, and I was on the ballot. And my question and thought was with Edinburgh. You had one which was at the Annex building, I call the old Robert Chevrolet. But the one at the university, we went over there to do a speech and had to go to the information booth
And when we got there, pulled out, we didn't know which way to go. So the signage there was rough. I heard Ms. Ramon talk about that the students, it was so wonderful for them. But how about the rest of the people that work for, that live in Edinburgh that needed to vote? So I would like y'all to think next time when you're going to make a location such as that, an STC, where there's parking. I know it's very difficult to find a parking place, even though they had 4 or 5 that were lined up right there. I know that I believe some of the workers even got tickets where they were told to park, and then they came along. So I'm hoping that the county took care of those, that those people didn't have to pay the tickets for parking in the place they were told to, and still got a ticket. I do want to thank the taxpayers for paying for the voting machines. If my husband can use it, anyone can use it. So I know that he did it quickly and everything was fine. So I do thank you, but I do thank the taxpayers of Hidalgo County. But please, when you look at these places, like I said, the UTPA, that you find another place also, because the regular citizen that's shopping at Walmart or whatever, and we go to run over to the annex building and there's a long line, why do they have to wait in a long line? So to try to go park it at the university is a joke for the public. So I think that y'all did an in-service for the residents of Edinburgh. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone that spoke, and as this Commissioner's Court knows, one of the most difficult jobs is actually locating those polling places and having everyone be on board with the locations. Usually we have more locations in Edinburgh, but due to the decisions made, those 2 locations were the ones that were approved, and certainly proved to be very positive for this pilot program. Certainly we will be looking at more sites as we prepare for the primary, also knowing that more sites means more workers. And I ask anyone who is listening here today that if they are interested in becoming a poll worker to please contact our office at 318-2570, because just having a location is not enough. It's being able to man the location and being able to have enough people to work 2 weeks of early voting and on election day. That does become a difficulty. Our senior poll workers that have been working for us 30, 40, 50 years, some of them are already retiring, and we're trying to bring them in to help us train others. But I do understand that it's a long process, and it's a very tiring process. So I'm also working hard, as you well know, and thank you for giving me the position of elections analyst, because Ms. Salinas is working hard at trying to make that communication to the public through our Facebook, our Twitter, our all sites. She mans those, and all schedules are there, and we send out regular press releases. But we still know that if all of you would please also share our pages, that would be a great help in reaching more and more people in the community. The Monitor does a great job also of posting elections and sites at no charge. This is something that they have all taken up to do, as well as the Town Crier. So anyone who can help, I know that the Advance News does as well. Any type of media that can help share these schedules and share the locations would be a great help. One thing about countywide polling places is that we are looking for stability. We are looking for those locations that will be the permanent sites, so that there's an election taking place and this is where I go vote. It's understandable before, when it was a school election and it was in a school building, versus then the next time it was a city election and it would be changed to a city building. We're hoping to work with our political subdivisions and bring them on board so that the May elections also have the same stability and have the same sites, so that no one is having to question, where do I go vote? So thank you so much, everyone who commented. I think every comment is important, and we take everything that is said to be very important, and we will certainly look at everything that was said here today.
Well, thank you for your leadership, you and your staff. You obviously have a winner on your hands in the new machines and the new method of voting.
Thank you, Judge.
And I understand that the accessibility issue with respect to ADA and compliance with that made you change some locations as well. So hopefully we'll have some stability with that as we move forward.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. Very true. We are working with them and looking at all locations and making sure that we have compliance for every single voter at every single location. So this has been also a very positive move.
All right. Are you through?
Yes, sir.
At this time, we're going to be closing our public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you,
so
ma'am.
much. Have a good day.
And item 17, Precinct 3.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Victor Gallo with
Morning, Victor.
Commissioner Joe Flores' office, requesting approval of agreement for right-of-way procurement between Hidalgo County and Texas Department of Transportation for FM 494 from FM 676 to SH 107, being the RCSJ 0864-01-072, with the authority for the county judge to sign required documentation.
Second.
Thank you.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
17.
Item 18, Precinct 4.
Which one did
Leave
you
that
read?
one
I didn't read your list. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's correct. Item 19, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 19A1 is approval of 2017 appropriation of funds in the amount of $7,200 for the district clerks, program 090, to fund for record storage services.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioner.
Item 20, Purchasing.
Yes, Martha Salazar, Purchasing Department, A1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding, 262-024A7, a proprietary software.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B, requesting approval of agreement online research services with LexisNexis for the 332nd State District Court.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Mr. Guerra, could you read number 2, only because it involves me? A2.
Oh, yes. A2, this is requesting an approval for reimbursement of $16.35 to Marta El Salazar for the purchase of 3 duplicate original vehicle titles. This was needed for auction, obtained at the FAR TxDOT offices, as no purchase orders or checks are accepted by TxDOT, with check to be issued after all processing procedures are completed.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B1, requesting approval of final negotiated professional services agreement with ROW Surveying LLC for Precinct 1 on an on-call basis, as approved to negotiate back on October 31st of this year.
So moved.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Precinct 2, C1, requesting authority and approval of purchase 1 used 2015 Caterpillar 926M high lift wheel loader for the precinct under our cooperative purchasing program participation with PCA, contract number 3170-17, in the amount of $152,200, inclusive of the warranty for 36 months or 3,000 hours, subject to compliance with 1295.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D1A, Precinct 3, acceptance and approval to execute the final form of agreement, contract number 311 with LNG for the provision of on-call professional engineering services for environmental on an as-needed basis for all projects located within the precinct.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 in the amount of $8,101.44, and as submitted by the engineer, LNG, Phase 1 Environmental Site Assessment Services for the project 10-acre tract of land of Texas Garden Subdivision.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting approval of work authorization 3 in the estimated cost of $354,000 as submitted by the project engineer, LNG Consulting Engineers, through Contract 133 to provide the services required in the preparation of the right-of-way acquisition of an estimated 22 parcels and compensable utility management for Sherry FM 494 project from FM 676, Mile 5 to State Highway 107.
Move to approve.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
E1 Precinct 4 requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024-A4, their professional services for the following disciplines. We'll take each of them one at a time. B is presentation of the scoring grids for the purposes of ranking by Commissioner's Court of the firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool and is nominated and approved by as approved on October 31st. Agenda item 62-182 for professional architectural services for the design and construction of a county services facility. Those were Gomez Mendez Science at total points 472, Ortiz Architecture and Environmental at 470, and Wright Ogden Figueroa Alex Architects with 494. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their points?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is presentation of the scoring grids, and this is for professional technical construction materials testing. The firms were Millennium, total score 494, Professional Service Industries, total score 477, and Isaguirre Engineering Group with 476. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
D, presentation of the scores for the professional surveying services, also for the design of the county services facility. Those were Meldon and Hunt, 474. Sames Engineering and Surveying, 488. And Chavez Automated Design Consultants Corporation, CAD, at 463. Do you wish to rank them in the order of their totals?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, so item E is authority of the Purchasing Department to negotiate professional services agreements with the number one ranked firm for each of the disciplines herein. Architectural services would be ROFA, which is Wright Ogden Figueroa Alex Architects. Geotechnical services would be Millennium Engineers. And surveying services would be Sames Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
For the Sheriff's Office, F1, we're requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements, Texas Local Government Code 262-024A2 and 3, an item necessary to preserve and protect the public health or safety of the residents of the county, and B, and 3 is an item necessary because of unforeseen damage to public property, including compliance with Texas Commission on Jail Standards.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is pursuant to the statutory exemption herein, action to approve an exception from Hidalgo County's current purchasing policies and procedures, Chapter 8, Section 8.03, amended, requiring at least 3 written quotations for purchases over $3,501, but less than $50,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is approval to accept and approve a requisition and process a purchase order in the amount of $17,388.70 to Security Design Incorporated, DBA Cornerstone Detention Products, part of the Cornerstone Group of companies, including authority for the sheriff or county judge to execute required scope of work document for the repairs of the cell doors and thus complying with the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. I believe the sheriff will take the lead and sign this.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
G1 Adult Probation, acceptance and approval of partial payments for the 2 ongoing renovation projects at the Hidalgo County Substance Abuse and Treatment Facility, SATF, which are restroom renovations and facility doors, to awarded job vendor Alpha Building Corporation. A, applications numbers 1 and 2 totaling $68,700.67. That's for the restroom renovation project. Through PO 768014, and B, application 1 and 2 totaling $11,885.60 for the facility door project, PO 767950.
Move approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
H1, this is for WIC, acceptance and approval of the third amendment to the lease agreement between Hidalgo County WIC program to reflect the name change of lessor from Jose I. Ramirez to P and ARL LLC, subject to compliance, 1295.
So
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I1, this is for executive office. A, requesting approval of an amended sole source declaration approved by Commissioners Court back in 2011 for Palm Valley Animal Center to include the language which continues the declaration unless otherwise revoked by Commissioners Court. Circumstances and facts remain the same.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is requesting approval of contract number 268 under the existing and amended sole source declaration with Palm Valley Animal Center for Hidalgo County impoundment and quarantine of small animals effective January 1st, 2018 through December 2018.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's going to be the same as last year, right?
Yes, sir.
And that amount was how much?
There is
It's a slight increase. I'm sorry, I didn't get it down here.
Is it in the 800,000?
Yes.
Yes.
It's, and just for disclosure purposes, it is an increase over last year, and they are the only center in the county.
And well.
Well, and they do the cities, they do the county.
They do what needs to be done. It's
Right.
unfortunate they have to kill so many animals.
So the dollar amount that Hidalgo County will be contributing by statute is $821,406. Judge Commissioners, I have mentioned this before in the past. Every stray that's taken there or dropped off was somebody's pet at one point. And so, again, this is, and I think everybody that knows me, I have a special place in my heart for pets, for animals. I've been accused of trying to save all of them. And so I will be working with the individual commissioners and the judge's office, as I've stated before, putting together some type of program that we can collaborate with all the entities in the county, with all the cities, again, and working with legal counsel to see how we can address the, as I call it, the unwanted pet population. Because this is the county's share, $821,000. You have every municipality out there
Contributing.
that also has a contribution on there,
Depending on their size,
right?
yes.
And at the end of that day, Judge, as you said, it's unfortunate, but there are a number of unwanted pets out there that ultimately are not adopted, and their fate is sealed when they end up over there. And so I've worked with Mr. Olivares to see what we can do. I know that there's programs out in other communities in the state. Austin has a program that, in my opinion, is second to none because of how they've instituted it. But it's a collaborative effort with everyone, with that entire community, and the same thing goes for us. Again, I want to work with all the municipalities and all the entities in general to see what we can do to address the unwanted pet population. It'll have a twofold effect, in my opinion. One, the cost to the residents as a whole. I'm hoping to decrease by way of our contribution. And two, educating everyone that while a puppy is cute,
it grows up.
on the breed that you get, a puppy can turn into a rather large dog.
And a responsibility on the part of the owner.
There's a responsibility. That's one thing I do emphasize, that when you adopt or you take in a pet, my attitude is they become part of the family, and they're no different than your children with respect to the role and the responsibility you have with those pets. So again, for disclosure purposes, and you're right, Judge, $821,406 is our contribution. We do work with the center, but they also have administrative overhead costs that need to be addressed. And again, this is by statute.
I don't believe the county, with that amount of money, could even go it alone.
No.
It would be too big of an investment,
No,
and this is a far cry from trying to initiate our own.
Mr. Cruz has done the analysis, and we would be talking multiple seven figures for us to even begin to entertain the notion of trying to facilitate our own facility.
That's exactly why so many have closed, because of the funding of.
What about that spay and neuter clinic that we at some point were contributing money to?
We do. We have worked with them. They do advertise. There are initiatives out there for the low-cost spay neuter. I know that there's.
But are we contributing money towards it?
We have in the past, Judge. We have not as of late. There's a couple of hiccups that have come up with legal. But to that end, that goes towards educating the general constituents with respect to the benefits of a spay and neuter. Unfortunately, we do have certain individuals, or in general, we do have certain individuals that it would not be to their benefit to spay or neuter, as the sale of puppies, kittens, whatnot.
The mills.
Exactly, the mills.
I'm not sure if we actually voted, but
no, I don't think we have. I apologize.
Those in favor of the approval of the contract under item IB indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
J1, Health and Human Services, acceptance and approval of the third amendment, subject to legal counsel review, which has occurred, to the current contract number 988 for the provision of professional services in connection with Medicaid 1115 waiver health transformation and quality improvement program with Ken Nolting, DBA Nolting Consulting Services, due to the State of Texas extension of the 1115 waiver program through 2018 and as permitted under the terms of the agreement.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Under open forum, did anyone sign up?
Yes, sir, we do. We have two participants. As a third participant had signed up, actually is already that's already been addressed during the regular agenda. Our first participant is Ms. Fern McClarity. I will remind the audience to please respect the speaker's time at the podium. There is 3 minutes, and I will advise when there is 1 minute to go. Ms. McClarity?
Senate Bill 2 required that members of the Appraisal District Board of Directors must be elected officials. Obviously, that one didn't pass. Maybe next time. I found an article by Dave Lieberg, Lieber, the watchdog columnist with Morena Martinez. The Texas property tax system is broke. People are forced to move or lose their homes because they can't afford rising taxes. The property tax system is based on a lie. The lie is that those properties appraised notices that arrive in the mail determine how much tax you pay. Not so. The real determining factor happens at the City Council, school board members, and County Commissioners Court. Sometime between July and September of each year, these elected bodies vote to approve their tax rate for their next budget year. The meetings are boring, numbers are filled, usually hardly anyone goes or pays attention, as y'all all know. Here's the way these elected officials have gamed the system in their political favor. Many bodies vote to keep the tax rate the same year after year after year. Then a mayor or a county judge proudly boasts, for the 14th year or the 4th year or however many, we have kept the tax rate the same. They bring that up at election time too. The rub, of course, is that with an appraisals going up, when those higher appraised values are multiplied by the tax rate, the taxes you pay is, of course, higher and a lot higher. Any public officials who swears he or she didn't raise your taxes because the appraisal district did the dirty deed is a full-blown liar. I did not say that. They did. Who should be run out of town? Believe me, these pass-the-buckers exist all over Texas. When the states created a central appraisal district, he told the Senate his prepared marks. It also creates a convenient scapegoat. Almost immediately, local governments began convincing the people, conditioning taxpayers to believe that values, not tax rate, was the problem. Today, almost everyone believes that if their property values goes up, then their property taxes will automatically go up. Nothing could be further from the truth. Local elected officials seem to believe that if they vote to keep the tax rate the same as the year before and values go up, then they haven't really voted for a tax increase, but the truth is they have. It's time to drop the veil has covered who really controls property taxes. The local government controls and have always controlled it. Elected bodies should not be allowed to hide behind their appraisal districts. This is particularly true of elected bodies who vote to keep the tax rate the same year after year after year, while rising values produce a windfall of taxes that is rarely shared with the taxpayers in a meaningful way. I'm closing by stressing that elected officials don't like to have...
And I won't, I'll honor your time. It's my understanding, your 3 minutes is up, but it's my understanding that you were also representing this Maryland Rhyme with respect to the same issue.
Same issue.
Okay, then.
This is particularly true of elected bodies who vote to keep their tax rate the same year after year, while rising values produce a windfall of taxes that we rarely, the taxpayers, ever see in any meaningful way. In closing, by stress that elected officials don't like to hear from angry taxpayers. If you angered at your appraisal district for higher values, you're missing the point. Responsibility lies with your school board, your city council, county commissioners. They are, by definition of their job, tax and spend governmental officials. The question is how much. So obviously, I'm not the only one that questions whenever you have someone on the appraisal board for over 25 years, going on 30. So it happens all over the county. And I certainly hope that SB 2 will come back and that they will vote it in so that the people can elect the people. And if they don't like their job, they can unelect them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Judge Commissioner, with that being said, we do have closed session.
Pursuant to 551.071 and 072, need a motion to proceed to executive session.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're going to be in executive session for a short while.
We're back from executive session. It's 12:25. Open session.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Open session 24A, real estate acquisition, appropriation for sin, there's no action to be taken. 24B, pending and or potential litigation, there's no action to be taken. 24C, pending potential litigation, notice of claim, donateur is one. We'll just proceed as directed, there's no action to be taken. And for the record, Judge Ramon Garcia is abstaining from any discussion with respect to item 24C.
Do I need to sign that?
Yes, we'll get you signed that you did not participate in any form or fashion with respect to the notice of claim donateur is number one. And so going on to 24D, C 5679-15-I, Rolando Garcia versus Hidalgo County. Judge Commissioners, I'd like to entertain a motion, or I'd like for the court to entertain a motion in settlement of C 5679-15-I, Rolando Garcia versus Hidalgo County in the amount of $39,500. So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And so just some quick housekeeping. Next week, December 19th, unless barring any emergency or any unforeseen situation that would require a session of the court, next week, December 19th, Tuesday, will be the court's last court session with respect to county business. December 20th, the following day, we will be having a special meeting with respect to the courthouse project, and this deals with the CMAR, which is the Construction Manager at Risk issue. But that will be December 20th, Wednesday at 9:30. Should be relatively short, but with respect to county business in general, December 19th, Tuesday next week, Drainage District 9 a.m., Commissioners Court 9:30 a.m. will be our last court session, and the next court session for the year 2018 will be January 9th of 2018. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Great, Commissioner.